everyone, welcome back, my people. There is fire on the mountain. Terro-Financiers in Nigeria are on the run. So yesterday, that this breaking news that the terror suspect Financiers linked to the powerful Nigerians, including Malami, my people. And he came out and denied the allegation, saying that at no point in his public life, during or after his tenure, has he been summoned, questioned, targeted or investigated by any security or regulatory or intelligence authority in Nigeria or abroad in relationship to terrorism financing. And also he claimed that he was involved in lawful professional engagements. So after this, Nigerians start bringing like some evidence about what he did during his tenure. And this person said he can never deny his atrocities while he's received full internet. His two hands, they incite terrorism. So the person now posted like what he did while in office. And the breaking news was how Nigeria Attorney-General Malami released over 300 powerful Boko Haram sponsors after collecting bribes, left only foot soldiers in detention. And this person said, of course, he is at liberty to deny the heavy allegation, but he should also clarify to Nigerians what he meant by lawful professional engagement. And in the course of that engagement, did he identify the financiers of terrorism in Nigeria? And who are there? And this person said, if you understand how Fulani people operate, you realize that what we are witnessing today is exactly what they came into power to achieve. Their master, the late Buhari, as confirmed by Galadima, only emerged to protect the interests of the Fulani. He placed them in higher positions that they don't merit. Use their headers to suffocate other indigenous people. Every Fulani in the position of the influence knows about the terrorist activities, directly or indirectly. No amount of denial will exonerate him and his likes from the terrorism. And this person said, you go explain tire. The day of judgment is here, and all of your evil deeds will be brought to book. And this person said, he cannot deny what every honest, intelligent officers around the world knows. These caliphate's sons and daughters are doing every evil against humanity and walked free because British government is in support of them. They have agreement with British and Britain. So while this was going on, someone brought out like Nigeria defense minister since 1999. And my people, like 99% of people that have been in this position since 1999, they are northerners. And the highest insecurity is in the northern part of Nigeria. Then Nigerians are asking, like, what is going on? And this person said, the North is always holding the most sensitive positions, yet they remain the least in all indices of development. And this person said, so it has been the North handling the defense, yet we have so much insecurity. Are you thinking what I am thinking? And this person said, are you not shocked? No Igbo since 1999 till date, since in almost all the institutions in Nigeria. And this person said, no wonder we never get them right. Why is there no Igbo man there or South person? This is pure marginalization. Igbos want to and must leave Nigeria to cue this injustice happening every day in Nigeria. And this person said, since 1999, the country has had 14 ministers of defense. 11 from the North, yet the North is the most insecure part of the country. Southeast and South haven't produced a single minister of defense in 25 years, yet the most peaceful and secure region in Nigeria. A striking irony. And this person said, Nigeria defense ministers since 1999 to date are between the North and the Southwest, and you can see the roads. During Buhari, everything was Fulani, and each time you ask them about insecurity, they will point at IPOB, and there was no opposing voice. That is how they got us into this mess. So my people, as you can see, the truth is gradually coming out. No wonder we have been finding it very, very difficult to tackle insecurity. People who don't really give value to life is who Nigeria government is giving sensitive positions in Nigeria. Wonder shall never end. My people, let me allow you guys to watch this video from retired Major General Danjuma, like what he said concerning those that are financing this terrorism in Nigeria. Take a listen, do well to subscribe, share the video so that it will get to other people to watch, and also leave your thoughts in the comment section.
Well, Nigeria has been able to dismantle the terror groups, Saru and Mahmouda, with the capture of their leaders, two of them. Joining me to discuss recent gains made by security agencies in the fight against insurgency following the arrest of the two Ansaru leaders, Nigeria's missed opportunity in overlooking the outcomes of the key recommendations of the Operation Service-Wide OSW is Major General Danjuma Alikefi, retired. Thank you for being on Arise Prime Time.
Thank you for having me.
Good. Well, the FG has in their net, like you just had me read there, two internationally wanted terrorists. A reason to beat their chest and say, yeah, we're on course against terrorism, insurgency, and insecurity in general. What's your reading into the capture of these two leading terrorist leaders?
Thank you very much. Once again, it is a highly commendable effort. I think it's significant. A significant breakthrough, and it should deal a blow to the terrorist organization, that's Ansaru and Mahmouda, and one should really commend the National Security Advisor first and foremost, and I believe also the other security agencies, particularly the Department of State Services, DSS. I believe they were key to it as well. Perhaps the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, also NFIU played a role in it, and others I do not know. I'm not privy to any of this. But it's a commendable effort. And again, you know, in terrorism, insurgency, and the rest, I mean, if you are able to address the financial aspect of it, it deals a blow, significant blow. And because if you take out the financing, the logistics, it's like taking out oxygen from somebody or from a thing. And also taking out the leadership, decapitating the leadership, it renders the organization or a terrorist group kind of ineffective. I mean, this was what we did, the Operation Service-Wide, which you mentioned in your opening introductory statement there, back in, starting from 2020, 2021, when we arrested the leadership of Boko Haram, the real leader, as I said previously, not Shekau. Shekau was the leader, but he was the main chap. He was just the spokesperson. And 5 other key guys. And as a matter of fact, that intelligence was given to us by the United Arab Emirates. I'll come to that later, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll come to that later, because
when we picked those guys from March 2021, you know, that was what led to that disintegration of Boko Haram. You may have noticed, or Nigerians who are aware at that time, Boko Haram ran into a lot of difficulties. There was massive surrendering. They and their family members and the rest surrendered. And that was even what paved the way to us getting Shekau. Shekau's death was engineered really by us. I mean, the intelligence agencies that worked under as part of the Operation Service-Wide, and one must commend the military intelligence, that's the army aspect of it, late General Kulia, who died in that ill-fated plane, not crash, I would say, but in, explosion in that
with the Goas,
with the late Chief of Army Staff, General Tahiru. He we gave the intelligence, was part of the OSW, and he did that. And but significantly, when you take out the leadership, you decapitate the organization terrorist group, and you render them ineffective. That was what we did, and you saw those mass surrender of Boko Haram leadership. led to the death of Shekau, all the way through 2021 and until perhaps 2022, when they made the disastrous mistake of, I believe, releasing those leaders that were arrested. But it is a significant
step in the arrest of these
and
leaders.
I commend the National Security Advisor, the DSS, and other security agencies.
The same thing you've just said. I mean, significant step, extraordinary success, UK and US commending the FG over the arrest. What's the import of this particular commendation from the UK and the US?
It's very significant, very, very significant, very important, and we should be proud as a nation. I mean, the United States, United Kingdom, have been our partners in the fight against terrorism. I say this even when in service, when I was in the military as director of training, we had significant support from the British military, from the United States military. They supported it in many ways, and also in the counter-insurgency in terms of intelligence sharing and the rest. They've been they supported us a lot, shared intelligence. Like I earlier said, even the arrest of those leadership that the Operation Service-Wide, OSW, achieved, it was with significant contribution from the United Arab Emirates. They shared those intelligence, like the leader of that Boko Haram. I mean, the sum of about 431 million US dollars, right, was sent to him or wired to him for Boko Haram from the UAE and other Arab districts, which was used. This intelligence was shared to us by the United Arab Emirates, and the OSW, like I said, we had the DSS, we had the NFIU, we had the military intelligence, we had DIA, NIA.
All right, let me get into, because you're already branching into it. So let me get into Terro-Financing, and then I'll come to the OSW you talked about.
Yeah.
For you, successive administrations have paid lip service to unmasking prominent Nigerians allegedly financing terror and oil theft. Why do you hold this view? Allegedly so. And do you know, I mean, one would ask whether you know them. If true, what do you think is responsible for the past administration's attitude, regarding this so-called financiers of terror?
Okay, thank you very much again for this brilliant question. Now, let me, relate to my experience, right, as the commander of the Operation Service-Wide, which was an intelligence-driven outfit. Now, like I said, we picked the main leaders and other facilitators, financiers, sponsors, and this. And then we commenced investigation.
By picked, you mean you arrested?
Arrested, captured, arrest, Now, we picked them. That is, it was a collaborative effort, those elements that I mentioned. And investigation was ongoing, and the investigation team was made up of representatives from the Department of State Services, from the Defense Intelligence Agency, from the military police, that's the army aspect of it, from the NFIU, the investigation, and it revealed so much. And like I earlier said, right, certain intelligence was shared. We were collaborating with about 33 countries in Europe, Western Europe, Asia, and other distant were collaborating with us on this. Now, in the course of the investigation, I mean, we stumbled upon names of individuals, prominent individuals, and some of them are still prominent, and including the owner of an airline who was ferrying weapons allegedly for Boko Haram and other reasons. So those information, we took our concern made our concern known, the investigation in terms of interim listening to the powers that be at the time. And some of those people were linked to even cabinet ministers. Some of the people were even arrested. Some of the people who were investigating were linked to them. Were linked to senior military retired now of generals and the rest, just linked to many prominent distinct. And in the course of our investigation, I mean, we now, let me just add also, we had 3 representatives from the Attorney-General of the Federation Office, that's Minister of Justice, that were with us to guide us while we were making the case, right? Because ultimately, the Office of the Attorney General was to prosecute
those you arrest.
Right. Now, but as the thing progressed, I mean, we started noticing some kind of how should I put it? We noticed some kind of hesitation. I mean, things started coming up like, okay, some of these people, I mean, it would be difficult to pin terrorism financing on them, perhaps money laundering. I mean, look, then you started getting some calls that some people, you know, prominently that you should release, so person is not this and that, something. This. As the commander, I made my concern known to the president, late President Muhammad Buhari. I made it when I said, so this, and I recall on one occasion, he stood up, very angry. He said, General, I appointed you as the commander of Operation Service Wide. You report to me and to me alone. That was his exact words to me. Then General Muhammad Buhari, a great man. I mean, of course, he had his shortcomings. I was very angry when the whole thing happened, and I mean, he didn't even raise a finger to this thing. But I later came to realize, you know, that perhaps he was misled.
You say Tahiru devised a strategy, the late Chief of Army Staff,
yes,
to end terrorism in the North. Fill us in on this strategy. Is it being implemented now?
I don't know whether that strategy is implemented. Before delving into that, let me just say that the military and other security agencies are doing fantastic work. They're best, and they have a lot of challenges. Now, the strategy is nothing fantastic to say. I mean, it was just sincerity. Now, we had the OSW, which was on, right? It's set up in 2020.
You actually headed the OSW,
yes.
And the mandate was to dismantle the terrorism financing network in order to fight against terrorism and insurgency. Will it be correct to say that you could not achieve that mandate?
No, we achieved.
Or that you failed?
No, we achieved. Because we achieved to an extent. Because we arrested the leadership of the Boko Haram, just like I said. The leader. I don't want to mention his name because I'm not too sure, but I understand, I heard from the grapevine that he was released along with the 5 key guys. And that leader of Boko Haram, just like I said, the United Arab Emirates shared that intelligence with us. I know, with all this. And he was the one who even recruited the 6 individuals that were jailed, 2 for life, 1 for 30 years, 1 for 20 years, another one for 10 years, and another one for 5 years, the 6 of them. He was the recruiter of this thing. And yet, right, that man I learned, he and the 5 other guys who had this thing were released. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what reason. They were never prosecuted, not to the best of my knowledge. I don't know whether they were released, but they were never prosecuted. So, you see, those were kind of the fear, if I may use that term or word, the fear that one has over what has happened right now in terms of the arrest of those leadership. We hope that the thing we see will come to fruition. Yes.
You had written to the president concerning your arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement over what an investigation task force you headed unearthed. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. Like I was arrested on the 18th of October 2021, and detained for 64 days under terrible condition, stripped of all my dignity. I mean, stripped. You know, a general being my headgear removed by a soldier, my boots, I was left barefooted, and in a cell. I mean, it was a terrible situation. And then on 21st of December 2021, they came to release me, and they handed over my letter of compulsory retirement. And I made effort to get across to the late former president. And let me just add, as bitter as I am, as pained as I am over what Buhari did to me, as I said, I realized that he was naive, he was misled, and for that I forgive him. You know, and I urge anybody who has this thing, if it's on account of me, to forgive him for these things. But anyway, coming back to that, on the I made strenuous effort to have that injustice corrected. It wasn't. Now, on June 7th, 2023, that was exactly 10 days before my late mother passed away. She died on the 17th of June. Along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, I and my driver, we survived an assassination attempt. We were pursued by 2 vehicles, and at a point I had to call the commander of the troops along that highway, whom was appointed at the time. I was the general officer commanding 1 division, and they came, and that was what we were able to get away. You know, that was the 4th attempt. And on that, when that thing happened, of course, you can imagine my state of mind. I mean, 2 years after I was thrown out of the army, nothing done, this. So I now wrote to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I wrote, and I passed the letter, you know, through a reliable listen to get across to him, because I didn't want to send it through the open mail. I never wanted this thing to be in the media. So that was, it was signed on the 21st of June 2023. Nothing was done. 6 months later, if you recall, January 2024, last year, that was when the news first broke, this day, and then you invited me to arise, and I came and listened. Then,
I'm afraid my time
No one can deny that
up.
Nigeria is a country convulsed by insecurity, a conflagration that's lasted for years, triggered by criminal gunfire and costing the lives of thousands of people. So many villages across northern Nigeria turned into ghosts by the brutal onslaught of bandits and insurgents, villages where the flags of freedom no longer fly. Imagine how the victims would have felt as their last moments flashed before their eyes. Perhaps it's a rather sober thought to keep in mind as Nigeria's unbearably self-indulgent National Assembly announces to a frustrated and tired nation plans to hold a national summit on insecurity, something their critics say is likely to be the kind of colossal spending jamboree that this country can no longer feasibly afford. They wonder whether this is another one of those disingenuous fanfare events that appears to be something but ultimately amounts to nothing. Because if the point of the summit is to assess the seriousness of the threat, why bother when those in the eye of the storm, including the armed forces and the people in its rampaging path, already know how serious the threat is and are unlikely to be appeased by a summit? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by retired Major General Danjuma Ali Kefi, who's a security strategist and who was the former general officer commanding the 1st Division of the Nigerian Army. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Sure.
First of all, how would you assess the current kinetic threat to security in Nigeria, which has cost so much in terms of lives and property?
Thank you very much. No one can deny the fact that the country is at a crossroad. We are faced with multiple crisis situation, and as you introduced, you mentioned earlier on, for over a decade now, the country has been, faced with all these things, and it came to the fore or worsened with the Arab Spring, so to speak, since from about 2011, onwards. Then we had, before the Boko Haram came up, we had situations all over the country, but not at the level that we're seeing today. But with the Boko Haram, something coming up 2011, 2012, and then reaching a height, the tempo as the peak somehow in 2013, 2014, it became frightening. And it is only fair to say or to point out that our inability to address the Boko Haram issue is what has led to the insecurity behaving all over the country. And I say this because you may recall 2013, 2014. Now we had a similar situation that is occurring today. So it's like history is repeating itself. Locations after locations falling to the insurgents, to the criminal groups. Then in 2014, late 2014, 2015, right, we started having a change in the tempo, and we started reclaiming some of this, and up to when mid-2015, when the Buhari administration came, his first term, and then the General Boratai was appointed the Chief of Army Staff, General Shekin, the Chief of Defense Staff, Marshal Abubakar Sadiq, the Chief of Air Staff, and Admiral Ibas, then the Chief of Naval Staff. Now, for 2 years, between 2015 to 2017, we had tremendous progress. You saw when we reclaimed most of the territories back, that is, we took back from the Boko Haram, and a lot of credit goes to the entire team that is led by General Shekin. But of course, the architect of that counter-offensive reclaiming of this should be given to General Boratai, and then it was almost like what one would call a textbook kind of military operations to reclaim this thing. However, from 2018, right, situation started changing. I say situation started changing. That was when we made a strategic mistake, and I say we. That is the entire high command, and it's not the feeling of one individual. And that was beginning with when we conducted what they call Operation Last Hold. If you recall, that was when they announced it was we were transiting from the active operation phase to the stabilization phase. And it held, I think, in Monguno at that time. President Buhari was there. There was a show, this thing. Now, but the key thing here was, for that operation to hold, they injected troops from outside the theater, troops who were not familiar with this thing, armed them, equipped them, and then to conduct that thing. But Boko Haram were
Nigerian troops.
Nigerian troops.
Right.
But Boko Haram were not sufficiently weakened at that time. But if you recall, also there was that something like technical defeat. I mean, that is alien to military. There's something called technical defeat.
Right.
When you
Yes,
defeat,
I
you
do
defeat.
recall that.
Yes. When you defeat, you defeat. So, but anyway, that Operation Last Hold became a lifeline because the equipment that the troops went in for that distance were virtually taken over by the Boko Harams, and that gave them a kind of lifeline. That was a good distance. So now we had that situation now, reversing some of the gains that were made. Then towards mid-2020 to late 2020, there was an operation that was conducted, a kind of investigation, if I may say, investigation.
So let me just be clear on that period. You were saying essentially that around that 2018, 2019 period, people were put into the theater of war who did not have the experience.
Yes, it wasn't...
and they basically ran away. Is that the point you're making? And left a lot of the equipment there.
See, this was what happened, right? We had the active troops in the various battalions, in the brigades, the task force brigade, tech sectors and all this, that were there conducting the operation. Then, to conduct that Operation Last Hold, which was supposed to culminate in the Nigerian Army Day celebration, what they call NASCEL. That was, I think, July 7th, July 6th, that is 2018. So they brought in troops from outside the theater, equipped them to conduct that. And that was a show, military parade show, airborne display and all that, this thing. So those troops essentially who came in were like greenhorns. They were troops that were not in combat.
They had no experience of combat.
Some had experience, but they were not the troops of the operation, then Zaman Lafia.
Right.
No, Lafia Dole. Lafia Dole, then it was named Lafia Dole. So those troops came, they weren't hardened per se, and Boko Haram launched attacks and captured most of the equipment.
Right.
Now, that was the first strategic mistake we made. Secondly, was in light of that setback, now they activated what they call the super camp concept. Now they gave up territories for strength. Now territories that we captured earlier, hitherto 2015, 2016, 2017, right? They gave them up and then consolidated in terms of having troop security protection kind of distance. So a strong point, so to speak, and then gave up some. So this gave Boko Haram the second breather. They were, ability to roam about. And
they regained territory, basically.
Yeah, but we gave it up. They didn't recapture it from us. We gave up the territories. That is, pull back and then
consolidated in certain strongholds.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right. Now, and then gave them,
but that was a strategic decision, was it?
It was a strategic mistake. This was a mistake, like I said. And this one is not...
But wouldn't trying to hold those positions have spread your troops too thin?
Good.
And put them at risk?
Precisely. Right. It will have done that. But, you see, the thing is that... in defensive operation, because at that time we had already claimed virtually the vast, the entire territories that Boko Haram captured, except in the Tumbus, that is by the Lake Chad, the fringes of Lake Chad, where they captured this thing. Now, what we needed to do, right, was to consolidate and build up on that distance. Now, we have what they call principles of defense. When you cite a defensive location, say a body of troops, say a battalion, right? They are cited with certain considerations, what they call the principles. You have what they call depth, you have what they call all-round defense, you have mutual support, you have a reserve and all this. Those are things that a battalion cannot just be dislodged easily, if you observe that. So those things were not done. Again, if I may go back to what I said earlier, when we carried out those reclamation of territories, that is the brilliant moves made by General Buratai at that time. That is mid-2015, started from mid-2015 onwards, right, up to 2017, they're about to reclaim this thing. Now, we carried out a surge, but a surge in the sense that the surge, if I just want to quickly make this point, that surge led to compounded the situation that we have today, in the sense that we pulled out troops from locations all over the country and took them to the northeast.
Right.
And that was what, led to, all over the country, said southeast, north central, because a location where you have a battalion, say a battalion is, you have anything between 520 to 720, depending on type of battalion you have. Now, you thin out the location and you leave just about, say, 150, 200 at most. That is not a battalion unit in being. So that was what gave the gaps that those criminals saw and exploited.
And they took advantage of it.
And until today, except, I don't know, I was thrown out of the army 2021, so I don't know.
When you say you were thrown out, what do you mean?
I was compulsory retired.
Right.
There was an operation which I led, the operation service-wide, the counter-terrorism, to arrest those terrorism financiers, if you recall.
Right.
It was all over celebrated by even the former president, the former Attorney-General Minister of Defense. When they came out and said we arrested, we picked the terrorism financiers, sponsors, all that. I was the commander of that, and I reported straight to the distance. and they were in detention, and that was when we even picked, as a matter of fact, the leader of Boko Haram. The leader of Boko Haram was not Shekau. Shekau,
Was
died.
a spokesman, more or less, at the time.
Yes, the poster boy, so to speak. But the real leader, we captured him. And incidentally, or ironically, he's not even a Nigerian, but he claimed he's been in Nigeria for some time, but he's not a Nigerian. So anyway, we arrested those guys, and they were in detention. We were collaborating with so many countries, about 33 countries, a key Western country, the United Arab Emirates, and we got a lot of intelligence from them. We picked those people. Some were picked from the battlefield, from the front line. Some were even outside the country. We picked them, and they were in detention. And then waiting for them to be prosecuted. Then in September, October 2nd or thereabout, next thing I was invited, said for interview at the military police headquarters. And I went there on the 18th, and I was arrested myself and detained in the cell.
What for?
I don't know. I was 10 initially. When I reported there, the interrogators said when I was removed as a general officer commanding on the 8th of August 2021, I handed over on the 10th of August 2021, 2 days later, because the posting came via signal posting in the night. I became aware of it the following day. That was on the 9th. So on the 10th, I handed over and left and continued with the Operation Service Wide, that one that I reported to the design. The Operation Service Wide was a multi-agency and military, organizations that were distant. And, the DSS was there, the NFI was there, the NIA was there, the DIA was there, and other distant. And I was the head of that organization. And I reported straight to the president. And we picked those people, those top distant, including the leader of the Boko Haram, including 5 of the key guys of this thing. I was invited. And then when I got there, they said I was removed as a general officer commanding. That was, like I said, on the 10th of August. And I didn't report to the resource center, the Nigerian Army Resource Center, where I was posted. And what really happened was that when I was removed, I reported straight to the presidency, and I said, okay, this was what they said, do not report. That they were going to address it.
Right.
And this thing. So I didn't know it was set up. They kept on this thing. I tried to report, they refused to this thing. The former president is there. There are people there in the presidency.
Well, I have to say, that part of it sounds very complicated.
Yes.
Because we don't really know the background and everything to it. I mean, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but it just sounds like there are too many strands to the story.
Absolutely.
And we've got about less than 5 minutes left to end this chat. Yeah. Let me ask you very quickly, all these things you were describing to us earlier about the mistakes that were made by the military. Is there any way to get an assessment of how much this all those things affected Nigeria's defensive capabilities? Do you agree with those who say that the military has been weakened considerably by the knock-on effect of all these things, as well as the ongoing security crisis?
Yes.
Because now they're stretched too thin.
There's no doubt that the military is stretched thin, 1. 2, again, you see, the military, the Nigerian military is a small military, the Nigerian army, if I'm being more specific, considering the vastness of this. Look at Egypt, for instance. Egypt has about 450,000 active personnel, and then they have the auxiliary and all this, and up to 1.2 million.
Right.
We don't even have half of that. And Nigeria, look at the population of Nigeria, look at the population of Egypt.
Right. So you need many more troops.
We need many more.
Why aren't they hiring more troops?
I don't know. I've been on your show, not this prime time, not the news night, and I advocated for the surge. The surge requires that you you recruit more
people.
more people
Yeah.
and this thing. Because that is what is. Look at what happened in Russia, the Kursk. Russia is a world power. Nobody, a superpower. Nobody can doubt that. But they brought in the
but the argument that people are
North
making,
Koreans, yeah,
right? The argument is that because of the escalating security crisis and what a lot of people are seeing that's happening to the army, and what people also hear from people like yourself who come out and say this is the way it is. That it's affected the willingness of young Nigerians to be recruited into the army. I mean, because the principal concern for most people is their own safety. I mean, especially when they feel they don't have enough protection and aren't being paid enough, and then they've got to go there to give up their lives. I mean, so you can see why people don't want to join the army. Or is the problem from the recruiters that they're not going out there to try and recruit people?
Well, I think this aspect can best be answered by the defense. Listen, but I just want to add here that the Nigerian army, the Nigerian military is one of the best who have the warrior spirit in us, our tribes. I mean, if they are well led, right, the Nigerian military.
So like all things in Nigeria, it's about leadership.
Absolutely.
Okay,
because
one very quick question, because we've literally got 1 minute left. Do you think what do you think of this National Security Summit that the National Assembly is proposing?
Absolute waste of time.
Complete waste of time.
Waste of time. It's not going to solve it. It's not going to solve the problem in the distance. Right now, right, how does it raise morale? We have a situation where troops are literally abandoning location. Look at the gory pictures that come out of their colleagues being killed.
Yes,
I mean, that was listen. Now we need to retrain the military, right? We need to recruit more people to have a surge. We need to have strategy. And if I may suggest something to the government, right? We need to reduce this multiple crises that we have. Look at the IPOP issue. The Southeast, this is a political issue. It's not going to, no military solution will solve it. The problem with the South of the North Central, Benue and these are distant. So look, if I may suggest to them, right, release Nnamdi Kanu. Go into some distant. You did that with the amnesty program during Eradua time. We need to reduce so that we can focus on the problem in the Northeast. We need to retrain the distant. We need to reduce the pressure on our military. Right? And again, one important thing, right?
We're out of time, unfortunately.
Right.
But